Hello, welcome to Fuzzy Front End final event today on Monday, 11th of May. We have been having a course on practical design at the University of Jyväskylä, realized by the Information Systems and Startup Lab here in Jyväskylä, Finland. So today it's the final event where we are going through all the students' works. They have chosen their own favorite of their own works, and they present one of them. And during the time when we are listening and watching the presentations, we are judging the presentations, so that in the end of this session, about 1 o'clock p.m., we know who is the winner and who is the audience favorite. So they get awarded, and then we can see what's the total offering of our course. Some ideas about the today's agenda. So we start now 10:15. Then we have a walkthrough of the first student works. Then we have a pause about 11 o'clock, 15 minutes, and we have the walkthrough number 2, and later on, after the lunch break, about half an hour, we continue to the walkthrough number 3. Then we have a pause, and then the jury goes through all the works and gives their own judgment, what is the best, and by the same time the students have voted their own favorite, and we are going to present all the winners. But now I give the word to the jury's persons. Please present yourself. Pekka.
Pekka starts.
Yes, I will start. Pekka Abrahamsson. Today I'm serving in the role of a member of the honorable jury, and what I'm looking for in the presentations, if I may share, is that there must be a reason why you have picked up the work that you are particularly proud of, and I really would like to see that proudness and coming through your presentation. And also I'm always very future oriented, so hopefully to hear some ideas where this could lead. But I'm very excited and honored to be here, and may I present you the president of today's jury, Krista Korpikoski, please.
Hello everybody, yes, my name is Krista Korpikoski, and yes, Pekka named me as the jury, president of the jury. Anyway, what I'm looking in your works is how innovative is the idea, and can it work in real life? So let's see what kind of ideas you have come up with. So I'm interested to see.
And as a third member of our distinguished panel of juries, today we have straight from Italy, Europe, Xiaofeng Wang, Associate Professor from the Free University of Bolzano. Please, Xiao, say some words.
Thanks, Pekka. And I'm really happy to be here. And I don't know actually what I'm going to expect. I guess I want to be surprised and excited by your work. So I'm really looking forward to your presentations. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Xiao, and now go back to Senior Juhani.
Yeah, thank you, Pekka and the jury. So we go through in few words what we have done and what we have seen during the course. The basic idea is that, very good question, if you were a designer, what would we do then? And the point is that everybody knows about good products, quality products, and about beauty, but we try to define a bit deeper what is beauty and what is design in that way. So here you can see some products, really ancient old camera. It's heavy, 2 kilos, and it's very good in picture and photo quality. Then we can see there a beautiful car, Bugatti Atalante, and beautiful high heels. Those are products of really good design. And on the right hand side you can see a very good plan about garden city. So this is something which is important when you design. You are creating beauty and practical things. Then we have an idea also that do we need design in general? So I have here a list of professions which are design based. So think about a choreographer. So they have to, when they are dancers, they also have to plan the production, and they have to lead the production. And still may be that the choreographer is also one of the dancers. So this is very important to find out that design is inbuilt in the choreographer's profession. And then if you go through, for example, every engineer is a designer. They have to design the future bridges or software or automobiles. There are so several things where they need to design processes and even products and, for example, strength of the structure. Then, of course, a cook or chef, they are designers because they have to design all the week's dinners and what they are going to buy this week as alimentation to the restaurant. And even a potter who makes beautiful ceramics, they are designers because before they begin to work by their hands, so they have to design what they are going to build up. Then we have also gone through different patterns. And the patterns, if you need to remember one pattern only, so it is always takete and malumba. It means that there are things which are very rectangular or sharpish, like takete, it's onomatopoetic, or then there are malumba, like roundish things. And they always compete, or they are also, how to say, counterparts in one work. So it means, for example, that if you have, in a car, you have takete, it accelerates really heavily and quickly. But the malumba there is very smooth forms and convenient cockpit where you can sit and enjoy your travel. Then if we go deeper to our patterns and compositions, so we have tried to understand the beauty with harmony and different kinds of ways to draw. Then we have also in every work we have the human being, as you can see on the right hand side of the slide. So human being has been defined in several ways, but we have also had our own way to understand how the human being is involved to our solution, which could be a product or a process or a service. And then in the middle you can see Leonardo da Vinci's beautiful Mona Lisa. But one important thing is that Leonardo also drew things which are not, I would say, that beautiful. So below there you can see some kind of a mechanical structure which is a structural drawing. And Mona Lisa is more like look-alike drawing. So we have been concentrated on the structural way to draw and communicate by drawing and visualizing. And then of course Escher's beautiful drawing there, the big house there in between, so you can see how complicated and complex it is. It's very hard for us to understand how it works, and Escher has also constructed and planned all the thing so that we can see the beauty of the very peculiar building. So now we have the final event and we start the walkthrough by students' works. Thank you.
I assume that we are starting the presentation, so Jonas has started, so good.
Yes, so it's probably my turn to start. Just a second.
Okay, hi. I'm Fanny, and we have seen so many such interesting and genius inventions, visual concepts, and ideas during this course, and probably we'll see during this lecture as well. However, the task I chose to present here is not exactly an invention, but it became the most crucial task for me. I chose to present my assignment we made for Krista Korpikoski. The task was inspired from Jerome Karel's previous assignment, and I really got in tune with reflecting my own occupational questions and future scenarios. I did add the front page for my book here, Current Challenges and Future Scenarios of Mine, since the cover was lacking last time. And it became kind of handbook for myself type of way. I also did this page in English, though the rest of the task is in Finnish. Sorry about that. And since I have already presented this assignment a few weeks ago during this lecture, just to summarize in a few words, you can scroll forward. First, there's a personal profile of me and some ways expressed how I would describe myself. Secondly, there are some challenges, if you go to the next page, and themes I'm currently battling with, so to say, and also some ideas how to cope with them. Thirdly, there are 3 future scenarios I created for myself, including SWOT analysis about each of them, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats about each scenario. And in the end, I did conclude that the chosen scenario would be a combination of these previous 3 presented. And I did choose this task here because I did use a lot of time working on it and perfecting the content and visual side, and I'm happy and also proud of how it came out, and I like the chosen colors and the combination here. I also chose this because I think the concept we did and used for this and the tools are very useful for anyone to think about their future scenarios, and also because it did help me to reflect my occupational ambitions and possibilities in new light, which is why I found this task important and very valuable for me. So thank you, Krista and Jerome, for this. All right, that's probably the most important points I wanted to point out. You can just scroll it to the end or to the first page.
Thank you, Fanny. Basically, I had a question, but you already answered it, and I wanted to ask you that why did you see this more valuable work than the others of yours in this course? But yeah, you said that you used a lot of time and you had a lot of visualizations, etc., in there. Yeah, that was basically my question, but thanks for explaining that already in the presentation.
Yeah.
In context and so.
Yeah, if I can make a comment, I just feel it's a really interesting concept because, you know, personal development is really difficult, and exactly because they're full of surprises in one person's life. So how to think about where you are in 5 years, 10 years, it's really difficult. So I can see the value of such a book. So interesting concept. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, my turn. Thank you, Fanny, for a very content-rich and so very visual presentation and work. I was very impressed with, well, I mean, I saw that I felt that there was quite a bit of thinking that went into this work, so that it felt that there's a lot of personal touch, and also the fact that you know, this front slide or front picture already shows that this is done with care, and I hope that it leads to the place where you want to be. So congratulate, well done. Thank you.
And I also think that if this is a book, for example, this could work for anybody in the world to look for everybody's, you know, goals in life overall. Yes, nice concept. Thank you.
If I may propose for the organizers in the Agora Maybe we could have the list in which the students are presenting, so that it facilitates of preparing. And also for students who are presenting, there are people watching this show now who don't know your, let's say, the content of the assignment. So if you are briefly summarizing the work, so that you should assume that the people who are watching this do not know in which context you did the work. All right. Jury remains silent.
The next one will be Heikkinen Heiku, and I will open up the presentation.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, the work I've redone is the diagnostic tool that I designed earlier as the fifth task. This poster doesn't have a customer journey mapped like the earlier version, as this one is more geared towards those people who make purchases for the healthcare services. The idea of this product is to digitalize the diagnosis process with a device that is also mobile. Artificial intelligence has already proved itself to be a worthy tool in the medical field, so with this device's design I'm looking to broaden that idea. The design process of this particular idea was surprisingly easy. Things just flowed together quite intuitively. Originally I was thinking about doing the other task given to us by Krista, the one about my personal future path, but it proved to be too hard for me to tackle. I made 2 prototypes of that one, but ended up laying them aside. This final poster was made in a couple of hours on the Sunday morning, but I still feel that this is the best one out of the 3. I'm a fan of the minimalistic design, and I feel that this poster has some elements of that style. The color scheme is simple and shows my favorite colors, which were also used in the hand-washing propaganda poster that I made earlier as the 3rd assignment. The red color really grabs your attention and actually has a fun allusion to blood, which is the thing this device analyzes. The poster has 3 rectangles, the poster itself, the red square at the top, and square text at the bottom. These sharp edges contrast the main display in the middle, the very rounded prototype of the device. Personally, I'm pretty pleased with the final iteration of the poster. I think the basic idea is realistic, since it could be possible that in the future we really have something like this in our hospitals or health centers. Playing with the ideas is part of the fussiness of this course, and this poster projects my vision of what could really exist. And that's pretty much all I got. I'm open for questions if you have any.
Thank you. So I really like the design, the poster design, and I want to ask you a question regarding, because you are designing a medical device, right? And you know the trust and safety is really the primary concern of the users. So did you put any thought into how to convey this sense of that this is a trustable, safe device?
That's a really hard question. I didn't think about it that much. This is more like a demo or a prototype for those that are in charge of making purchases for healthcare services, and I didn't really think of the question you asked me. So.
Okay, that's not a problem.
It was a really good question.
And okay, another probably I hope it's not too tough question is, you said you like the minimalist design style, right?
Yes.
So the text below is not really minimal style.
That is true.
Did you find any solution, or did you think how to improve? Do you have any thought on that? So.
Well, that was a problem I was battling with, because this is a very scientific thing, this analysis tool, and it was really hard for me to find a way to really minimalistically explain what it should do. So I just decided that okay, I'm just gonna put I think it's a it's a quite short text in my opinion, but some people might differ in that thought.
Yeah, overall I really like the design because it jumped out the object and really catch the attention. Yeah. So now over to Krista and Pekka for comments.
Thank you. I really liked when you were saying that things were just falling in place. I mean, that's what we discuss when we have a flow situation going. You do such a thing in a couple of hours, it's amazing. And I was so stuck with Elizabeth Holmes and what was that, the Tanner or whatever the company, because I just watched it in the not Netflix, but the other service, HBO Nordic. But so I got stuck with relation with that, but that's okay. It's a magnificent, very impressive. Kind of sticks into your brain when you see it. Thank you so much. Over to Krista.
Okay, sorry for the background noise. They are renovating 2 apartments here in this house, so you might hear some noises. Anyway, thanks for your presentation. I really like your poster. It's very simple, it's sleek. I like your design of the product as well. And the red color is really good. It pops up, as you said. That was basically, yeah, my comments. And I'm really delighted to see that you decided to choose absence as what to present today, since, yeah. I'm happy to see this. You've taken this forward of what I saw the last time when I was lecturing and seeing your works. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Rauti and William because of the request to be early, so I'll open it up.
And who is preparing after the next presentation?
After this, it will be Heikkinen and Ronja.
Okay, so should I start?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first task, and the idea was to do something with electric and something about clothing or wearable clothes and put some I/O in them. And my idea was to make a I/O shoes that you can actually monitor your shoes usage. And so the idea in here was that you have an app that, and then you have I/O, and you can install them in your shoes and then monitor your shoes usage. And about the poster that I made, I really like the shape that in the middle, in the center, there's the phone. And then I wanted to present everything what I have to offer in the middle of the screen. And that's basically it.
All right, sorry, I took time to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Juhani. I had a question in my mind when I was looking at this, is that how have you felt that you have grown into what? I mean, how has this course impacted your designer yourself? Have you noticed some changes on growth or different perceptions, or how has this course changed you as a person? Is the question.
Well, I like to draw something and like this kind of cartoon feeling things. And in the Jeremy class, it was very interesting to find out that Jeremy's techniques to how to find yourself, the traits that you see as yourself, and then just to start creating something and don't care about things and just do some designing, and that way you can be a better designer than when you don't actually think about all the things in your mind.
Thank you, and over to Krista.
Yes, thank you for this nice poster and this cool idea. Great idea. This would be fun. I mean, I was just thinking that, for example, when I go for a walk, I might use some Nike running app or something like this, but it just shows me kilometers and stuff like that. I started to think right away that what all kind of stuff this sensor could do and what kind of information it could provide you. So yeah, very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, same here. I really like the poster and the style and the sense it conveys. Probably just a small recommendation to improve. I think the idea is bigger than just to show the shoe usage, right? You can also give feedback to a person's health. For example, how distant this person walked today every day. So probably you can improve a little bit the message shown on the mobile to because I think the value is not just limited to the shoe usage. That's only comment here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Before we jump on the next presentation, we can put the next presentation on. I would like to step in here and ask the Agora folks, led by Juhani and his team, to when we are going into break at 11, perhaps Juhani could explain how the audience vote will be casted. So people, if it's not clear yet, so people will know how they can cast their vote and at which time. So yes, and now we can go to the next presentation.
Hi, I'm Ronja, and this is the piece that I chose for this presentation. This is a concept for a game-like app where parents can help each other out with looking after children. The base idea of the app is from Mikko Rautalampi and his group. I decided that the app and the game are based on a map. Parents can make tasks that show up on the map and other parents can answer them if they are able at that moment. I wanted to have something different in the app, so I created these bonus tasks, for example, a bike ride or a movie night that can bring family members closer to each other, not just parents helping parents. I chose the map because then the ones taking part in a task would see each other's locations when they are using the map. Other times the location is not shown, so it should feel safe. To make the app safer, there is a little 3 questions and 5 stars anonymous evaluation for all the children and parents taking part in the task that ends. I like how I managed to make the poster look visually nice even though it has a lot of information. I think the next step can be thinking about how this game would look in an actual app. Thank you.
Okay, so this application is basically for children or Ronja?
Parents.
Parents.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, the idea is that the parents can find help with taking care of children and having like me time.
Okay. Did you come up with the idea after there was the presentation of the doctor explaining what they're developing, or did you kind of find the solution in this way?
Yeah, one of the tasks was to make a game out of the idea, so I did that.
Okay, yeah. I like the colors of your poster. Very nice.
Thanks.
Yeah. And overall, really good. Yeah, over to Excel.
Yeah, sorry. And since probably difficult for me to comment on the content part because I couldn't.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. As I said, I think the color is really family friendly. The soft color that really strikes to me. Yeah, it's a good choice. Yeah, and I understand it's meant to be used by parents, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm supposed to be only comment, right? So no question. So over to Pekka.
I think you can ask a question if you have a question in
Yeah,
my mind.
I was wondering. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the
Go ahead,
age,
ask a
of
question.
course, the age of the children you target at. So that's interesting. What have you thought about the range of children?
I think it's like for different kinds of ages, just that the parents would use the help.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, I make a comment. I remember when I was listening to Mikko breathing hard when he saw this poster because it really gave him a lot of. I like the fact that what you said there was that this has a lot of information, and why do you take it away? It has a lot of information, but it still seems light. The way you present it doesn't seem so heavy. So it's very nicely laid out. Somehow magically you have done it, what is basically impossible to do. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we can go to the next one.
Next one will be Hirsimäki Emma, who, if I'm correct, she is not here, so she has prepared us with the video.
I'm here, but can you see the video? It's kind of like a couple of seconds of animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope this doesn't break. Okay, seems to have broken.
Yes.
Okay, I will stop it at some point.
Yeah, if we can stop it in the end, so it would show it. Yes, thank you. So this is my poster for the week 3, where we came up with different kind of solutions for the new normal after global pandemic. If we have a new wave or something else. And I had a lot of idea how to protect yourself from the outside, a different kind of clothing or having a medication, but I ended up with choosing the one where you kind of have what's more like something that I could do or a lot of other people can do, and it was kind of promote mental health, and it still left a field open for different kind of services or ideas to make it happen. And I ended up with the idea because a lot of people felt like they have lost a freedom or structure from their daily life or just a sense of purpose, because when we had the task like kind of in the beginning of the pandemic and staying inside a lot, we kind of have to struggle with the new normal. And even though it's currently, at least for me, I have kind of made my peace with the situation, but still have a lot of things, a lot of thoughts to think about. And the idea behind this poster is that even though you have a lot of things you're thinking, just make sure that you kind of deal with your emotions in the right way and have kind of like the inner peace is even when there are a lot of things you have to be thinking about. And my first poster that I presented during the presentation back then was an image from some stock photo website, and because I had a lot of time in my hand and I loved a lot of the poster, I ended up making it a flat art on my own and animating it. And I chose this one to be my work for this presentation because I just love it a lot, and I had a lot of fun while making the animation.
Sorry, are we seeing the video of these posters?
Hmm? Yeah, I can show the video again.
Okay. Sorry, I missed. I thought that okay. So I guess it's my turn to ask questions. And thanks a lot for the presentation. I really liked it, and I think the design is beautiful, and I think it also matched to this mindfulness, this concept. So you explained a little bit the thought behind, you know. So can you explain a little bit more how did you come up with this poster design exactly? How do you choose the image and color? I'm really interested in your thought process.
I got an idea about the text "Your mind is a jungle" in the beginning, and I started building it around those words. So I just Googled a lot about images of jungle and kind of look for the right one. And in my first version of it, I had a similar picture that's now made into flat art, which had like a person behind the leaves, and yeah, and because I liked it a lot, I made it into like art of my own.
Yeah, I guess the creative process is not really easy to describe, to be described by rational thought, right? So I think, but I think this is a really good work. Thanks. And now over to, I guess, Krista, right?
Yes, thank you, Emma, for this piece. I see a strong artist in you. This is really cool, and first of all, I like the concept of animated art and animated posters. This is really, really nice. And I like the visuals a lot that you've created here. And I think this works already. You could take this, for example, the bus stops already to remind people or around the cities to remind that, you know, practice mindfulness, take it easy, even though we live such times as now. Your mind is a jungle, we know that, but, you know, relax. This is nice. Thanks.
If I may say it, also a word, I think that I was caught up with that you must remember to deal with your emotions. If you keep it to yourself with all this time, it is already very difficult. And I think that the creating flat art and then animating that's like going extra mile. That's going beyond expectation, because evidently you didn't know how to do it, so you had to learn it. And that's what makes a course like this great, is that if you decide to go to extra mile, and then you just decide that, okay, I haven't done it, but now I will do it because I have this idea. That really a great example of wonderful work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is Hoppula Sami, and after that is Ilen Ella, and after that will be the break. Is Hoppula Sami present?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So this is also that Krista's task where we have meant to come up with some kind of idea for a product or a service or something like that. So I came up with this idea for a sort of application, and the idea behind it is that in some situations some people may kind of like lack of structure in their days, like now that there's this pandemic going, this has changed things for some people. So, and this kind of lack of structure in a day might like lead to different kind of inefficient use of time. So then I had this idea that what if there's an application that will, through some kind of randomization, create a structure for the user's day. So the idea is that you list things that you normally do in your life, like this can be like school assignments and like exercising and playing games and cleaning your house and so on. And the application will pick up one of those things and will tell you to do it for something like 40 minutes. And after that, the application will tell you to keep a 5-minute break, and then it will pick up another thing from that list that you have created. And so it will that way create a structure to your day, and that will likely lead to into more efficient use of your time and so on. And I chose this work because I think that this application would really be helpful for some people, and I think it's also very doable application, so that's why I chose this. Thanks.
Thank you, Sami. I was thinking that when you design an app or a concept like that, you must have somebody in your mind that as a like persona or person, actually physical person. So who did you have in mind when you were doing this day randomizer idea? Was it yourself or somebody that you know, or how was that thought process going?
It was me. I have been struggling with this procrastination and so on.
So it's an excellent idea to develop something for yourself. You always have to remember that WhatsApp, many people use that, was developed by two Ukrainian guys who went to US and had difficulty communicating back to Ukraine, and it became known as WhatsApp these days, and I know one or two of us are still using it. So something that really grew. I liked it. I think it would be a wonderful addition to what we are already seeing today. We don't have to wait a year to benefit for these ideas. Over to Krista. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sami, for your idea. I'm asking you to give us a usage example of how this could work. Do you have any scenarios of how this could work, in which kind of situations, and what it would remind and so on?
One use case would, for example, would be that if you have some kind of like an illness, or you insert yourself so that you can go to work, for example, but you still might want to like get things done. So that might be one situation where your days might no longer have any kind of structure, and how will this and why help the user is that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, over to Excel.
Thanks. Yeah, I just have a comment. I think the concept is really interesting, and because it's in these days of lockdowns, everyday looks for some people looks the same, and Saturday, Sunday is no different. So this day randomizer may give some surprise to this kind of lookalike days. So I like this concept. Thanks.
Okay, next one is Ilen Ella.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, my work is a recreation of week 6 poster, which was a Krista Korpikoski's assignment about service design. First, I had a black and white horizontal poster where I solved my friend's problem with going to the grocery store. I chose this poster to be recreated because this was my favorite assignment for this course, and I thought I could make it look much better. So I changed my horizontal poster to vertical and added color. Also, my original poster was in Finnish, so I translated it to English. I think now my poster looks more like an actual printable poster that would be seen in public, while the original black and white one was more like a sketch to be presented in a sales meeting, for example. This poster's recreation was also a good opportunity to show what I've learned during this course and how I apply those teachings in practice. For example, my poster is missing one color totally, which is green. I think that makes my poster easy to watch and prevents it to be too busy. I used 3 different fonts, enough to give poster interesting aspects without being too much and disorientated. And I also thought lots about layout. People usually read up to down and left to right, so I presented the information in my poster in that order in mind. And all these tips were given by Juhani when he commented our posters in Zoom presentations or earlier weeks. So in total, all I did is change the looks and style of my poster while the actual texts and information are the same as in the original one, translated in English, of course. I'm really happy now how this poster turned out, and I think this is my favorite now of all the posters I made. So that's it, thank you, and I can take questions.
Thank you for this poster. I see you have put a lot of time in the layout and visuals, and I think this is a really nice work.
Thank you.
Graphic design. Yes. I did have some question in mind, but I think I already forgot my question. I was so overwhelmed and you know, taken by your nice design here. But hey, how did you? Pekka asked this question before of some student, but I asked this from you too. That how do you see yourself growing as a designer during this course?
Well, I can be more. How do I say it? I'm able to let it go more. I'm really like. I really like structure, and I really like things to be like they are now. So this course made me be more creative and let myself go more. But yeah, I try this color and I try this color. How it goes, how it goes. So, for example, I don't like the color purple, but I think let's go purple. Does it look good? So.
Yeah.
I'm more like a black and white person.
Okay, well that's good. You free your mind now.
Yes, that's the right.
A bit more.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Thank you. I head over to Pekka herself.
Yeah, I can jump in to ask. So you mentioned this is your favorite assignment, right? So can you say why it's your favorite?
Before this course, while I'm studying this, while in my studies, I have grown interest to service design. So, and I think that would be something I would maybe do in the future after I graduate. So that's why I was really excited that we have a service design assignment in this course.
Thanks. Over to Pekka, I guess.
Yes, thank you. I was somehow listening to a professional designer saying that I had this earlier version completely black and white. It was it's more like a sales meeting, but this is something you can put in like public. So you use 3 different fonts and all the things that you explained sounded like you could be hired to do some design work. So I was very proud to hear that you have taken Juhani's comments and you have actually made sure that you try to follow them in this contest. That's exactly how one learns, is to try things out. And I agree, nobody wants to see green in this work. So well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I tell a bit about, before we start the pause, I tell about how we are going to vote the best work you audience is voting. So we are creating a list of with numbers and the people's names, and then from 1, 2, 3 through 21 up till 35 of you. Then after, when we have created the list, we share it with you on the chat, and then please make all the time evaluation by your own, because now we have gone through 7 of those. So we are continuing from number 8. So you have some kind of a list of your own already, starting from 1 and start to 7, which were done, and then from 8 forward. And you could make your grades from 1 to 5, for example. And if you want to make some differences between the 1 to 5, you could, in the first beginning, make 4.5 or 3.2 or something like that, so that you can differentiate them from each other. And after the last presentation, you put your own favorite number from the list to the chat, and we calculate from them in the end the winner of the audience votes. So let's start. Well, Jonas, you had something to say still?
Yeah. So there will be a small break now until 11:20, so a little bit under 15 minutes. But after the break, we will continue with Juhani Daniel, which will be the 8th presentation.
All right, 15 minutes from now we have the break.
Yeah, 11:20.
All right, welcome for the second round of the presentations. So now we have gone through 7, from 1 to 7, and we are continuing with number 8. And by the same time, so that you audience there remember about the contents of our presentation, so please make notes so that you can later on, when you get the list with the pictures and numbers, so you can recognize which one was your favorite. But so that we are going to all together have 35 on the list, and give grades between 1 and 5 in the final of the publication, what you are then publishing on the chat. So let's continue with number 8.
Before number 8, like Juhani said, there will be a file that will include every single poster and the number of the poster. So you won't necessarily have to remember what was what, and if you want to remind yourself what did they exactly which poster looked like, well, in the file you will know, and you will also we will also send you a link to the Google Forms where you can cast your vote, so you don't have to vote on the chat. So next up is Juhani Daniel, but first I will have to try to fix this, because for some reason in front of Pekka there's Pekka's icon. Let's say, Krista, can you say something? Okay, now it disappeared. Okay, everything's fine.
Guys, relax. Everything is going fine. Let's just go forward.
So Juhani Daniel has a video and PDF. Is Juhani Daniel present? Apparently not, so I will open the video.
But if the person is not present, we will not. We will take that presentation when the person comes.
Yep. He has actually prepared a video because he was not able to be present. So we will now show the video.
Hello. My name is Daniel Juola, and this is my poster. I did this for Krista Korpikoski's task, which was about coming up with a service which will help people during this corona pandemic. So when this task was given, I read an article on Yle, which interviewed visually impaired people about how they handle the pandemic. And from there I got an idea to design a service for them. So when I come up with ideas for the solution, I thought of something that will not require the use of eyesight. So I decided why not use virtual assistants that I work entirely on speech, and which I then connect to the internet. And the rest of the concept came from there, with the research on how the virtual assistants work and all that. So out of all my posters, this is the best one. I just think it's more visually pleasing and better organized and better designed than the other posters I've done, and it has a good amount of information about the subject matter. If I were to improve it, I'd condense the text even more, and maybe add more visual elements. As for why it should win the contest, I don't think it should win the contest by itself, but because it shows how much I've improved over the course, as my other works weren't anywhere near as good as this one, I think. So it shows how much I've learned about design and how I adapted my new knowledge and make something better, even if I still don't know how to use image editing programs that well. So I tried my best. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so are we making questions because the person is not here?
So I think that we will move on to next one. We pass on the comments to the person then after the course. So let's go with the next one.
Yeah, so I will start in the question next one also. Okay.
Yes.
Next
all
one,
right.
Next one is Kaartinen Lauri, but he has also prepared us a video, so I think he's not present either. So I will show the video, unless Kaartinen Lauri is somewhere here. Apparently not, so I will start the video.
So, hello, and thank you for the opportunity to present my idea. So, my name is Lauri Kaartinen, and I am a cognitive science student. And my work was a poster for battling something that could be the future version of the COVID-19 virus. The basic idea was to having a solution to intercept virus contractions and to alleviate the repercussions of crises with the help of machine learning and artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. So one of the key ideas I learned or came across was that it's very beneficial to define a problem. Basically what I did was I made an empathy map, which is a service design or UX design method to basically immerse yourself with the world and the problems of other people, basically. The main problem that I found out was the uncertainty of the future. So design-wise, the buildings were something I did sketch in my course notebook beforehand, and after making the buildings, I actually started to make all the objects as simplified as possible in order to have a more coherent style. And I think it did work out really well. The font used was Google font named Ultra, and I did make sure that the most important text in the design was as big as possible and with a great contrast. The proverb or expression of having the golden ticket to freedom was something that stuck with me and basically gave way for the colors that I chose. So I think this whole solution could be beneficial for much more things than just being a virus outbreak solution. So it could help people in their everyday lives as well.
Okay, next up is Kallioniemi Juho.
Okay, so hi, my name is Juhani Risku and I'm a information systems science student, and this poster is for an assignment that where the goal was to find solutions.
I understand, so that's the presentation. Now you're waiting for questions. Sorry, did I understand correctly?
No, I think that he will present, so I
okay,
just see that maybe the video is stuck.
Juho, are you still here?
So let's see.
Yeah, the internet connection is bad, I guess, on his side.
Yeah, let's wait for a little while, but we, I think he dropped completely. So we could go to the next one, and after that we could let him speak again. So next one will be Korpi Saara.
Okay, hi, can you hear me? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Sara, and I am an information systems student. And this is my poster about my future. It was Krista's task. And the problem was my own future. So creating this poster, I came up with some ideas I would like to do with my future. And then I did a SWOT analysis to choose the best ones, the best alternatives. For example, I could have worked with dogs or horses, but my allergies prevent that. So a regular kind of office job is better for me, as you can see in the poster. I would like to have a dog and a horse, but I work with office kind of jobs. So I came up with this customer journey map about my future and the things I would like to accomplish and do with my life. And on the left side, you can see like the profile of me, which tells who I am and what I would like to do. And the reason why I chose to introduce this poster is because for me this was the most important takeaway from this course. So of course I learned a lot of things beside this one, but I found that the skill of like questioning yourself and thinking out of the box and criticizing yourself is like the important thing in becoming and being a great designer. So that is also the reason I think this poster is and should win this prize because it may not be the most visualized or the like great design, but the thinking and the meaning behind it is quite important considering this course and the things we learned. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, I like the design. I think you put a good thought into it, and it's a simple poster. So I grabbed the message immediately, even I couldn't understand the text there. So I would like to ask you a question after you've done this exercise. So how did you understand about yourself and your own future? So,
well, I'm like quite a straightforward kind of person. So when I started to think the things I would like to do, it like expanded my view of things. I was like, I want to do this and this and this, but then I started to think like, is there some other ways I can accomplish something? So it kind of widened my perspective.
Yeah, okay. Probably if I want to comment on the poster is that, as I said, the personal life is full of surprises. No, it's not as linear probably as you presented here. So probably something to think about if you want to improve the design. Even though I'm no designer, so this is more feedback that you can take. Okay, so over to Krista and Pekka.
Yes, the same comments to this as last time when I was lecturing. I like your design and the colors and this service journey you've created of your life. So last time I told you that I like the icons you've used, so you don't need to have text to understand the meaning of this poster. I was also thinking about the same thing as Sao, that you never know of the future, what it brings to you. So when we think of future scenarios, I like this scenario that you have here, but also possible futures that could happen. They may change the direction of your life. So yeah, I was also thinking that maybe it's a good exercise to do in a sense, to plan also the possible futures of what the future might bring.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Sarah. Thank you so much. There is one thing that I would like to change in your own future planning. I cannot change that, but I would propose it. As I have lived 12 years outside of Finland, I think that last icon that you have where you are doing a lot of traveling, or there's some bamboo tree or something, I would move that to even before the graduation. That if you haven't yet spent 1 year outside of Finland, I would propose that you go see that bamboo tree now. So then it's more fun to see it later as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I will ask, is Kallioniemi Juho present? Has he been able to join? I think he's still not here, so we will move to the next one, which will be Kovanen Salla.
There was a question from Juuso. Yes, before you go on further, I just want to point, there's a question from Juuso Järvinen that was his gift somehow, so please respond to this so that the order remains clear. Thank you.
Should I start now?
Yes, please.
Salla, okay. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Salla Kovanen, and I decided that my favorite poster in this course was this assignment here. The assignment was to make some kind of solution to the corona pandemic if it stays for a few years. As I said, it was my favorite poster, but it might not be the one that would sell the best. The thing is, I haven't studied marketing. I, on the other hand, have studied nanoscience and biology. My poster tells about an idea to use nanosilver particles to kill viruses. They have been shown to kill herpes, HIV, and other viruses. On the other hand, this poster presents stylish ways to protect oneself. This still needs to be developed a lot so that it is usable on gloves and respirators. Also, it has to be researched that if nanosilver actually kills the virus behind COVID-19. I came to this solution because after a long consideration, I decided that I shouldn't do anything from the diagnostic or vaccine front. Those have been already invented. After that, I thought, what would be the next important thing to do to prevent the spread of the virus? In this poster, written in Finnish, no touch contamination, no droplets, no droplet condition. Touch and droplets are the two most common ways to spread the virus. Eliminating those with self-disinfecting cheer, well, it might be a good idea. Then I remembered the properties of the nanosilver, and that is how I came up with this idea. The solution on the idea level is for everyone, but in hospitals it would be very beneficial. In this
poster, it is on the other hand for the people who think the respirators and protective gear are ugly. And I think this idea could have great impact on the medical field. And I think this is also an idea that feels unique and it reflects my education. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I'm so impressed with these visuals that I'm like speechless for a second. I'd like to hear about the thought process going back to how the visuals were created and why does it look like it does. So, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I first wanted to make like very well rendered pictures of the respirator and the hands because they are the things that I am trying to show here, and I was thinking about many ways. I have drawn very many ways to show them in like good composition, and that's why I played with 4 hands instead of 2, so that I could get like nicer balance in the picture. And then the human there is very lowly rendered and such a sketch because I didn't want to bring attention to the person who's wearing it and more like the thing that was on her. And the colors were previously more darker and even more obvious than they are now, so I tried to make them a little less dark so that it wouldn't be so scary looking. I got some comments on that, so yeah.
It does have this. Well, I don't feel it scary, but the only thing I had in my mind was that was like slightly on the. There's some people say hopeavesi. This is something that helps somebody. So I don't know what that hopeavesi is, but it's not this because this is something very different. Nano is from the so it's a biotech, right?
Yeah. The nanosilver water, what you are talking about, I have actually made a presentation about it, and I have to say that you should not drink it because even though it might kill bacteria, it also can kill you.
Yeah, that's not good. We don't want to kill ourselves. Hey, time is running. I turn it over to Krista. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sala, for your poster. I was really impressed. I like your visuals in here, and this is. I started thinking of Stardust right away, and there is magic in your poster that you created. I like the hands and the mask on the face, but then I was also thinking about the eyes because the eyes are popping out as well. So yeah, I was also thinking because COVID also you can get sick also if you touch your eyes or so on. So I was wondering also that because you've got eyes popping out, I was also thinking that okay, that could be the solution for the eyes in the case. But anyway, I really like your poster. That's really cool. I like the colors and the drawings and everything you've done here. Thank you. Over to Xav.
Yeah, thanks Sarah and Pekka and Krista said, oh, really, really impressive poster. And good combination of art and science. Well done. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Pekka and Lassi. And after Lassi, Loppukaari Jussi. But now it's Lehtovaara Lassi.
But your Kallianim is back in the game.
Oh, is he?
Yes, if you read from the chat window, there is information. So.
Okay, Kallianiemi, Juho, you can present.
All right, thanks, Pekka. So yeah, let me start again. So my name is Juho Kallianiemi, and I'm a information systems science student. And this poster is for an assignment where we were designing solutions for the future coronavirus situations, just like the last poster. And this is basically a constellation of ideas that I had in mind of how we should change our culture and way of living to be more prepared for a outbreak in 5 years. So I chose to limit myself with only 8 ideas, and they are kind of generic ideas because there are tons of different ways that we can counter diseases. But I wanted to focus on the complete picture instead of just details. And so this is because culture is a very broad concept, and so here we have basically many cultural things like distancing, hygiene, and the use of masks, because people don't want to use them unless they are used to wearing them all the time, like they do in Asia, for example. And then there are some technological solutions like home delivery using drones, distance working using VR in meetings, and also tracking by using IoT, because we can collect data and predict where how we can cut frames, and also some supporting things like research and vaccinations. So yeah, why I'm proud of this work is because I like the layout. I think the colors work well together, and as Juhani was saying about the Takete and Malumba, and I think the virus there in the center is kind of like the aggressive Takete kind of thing, and all the rest is connecting to it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you, Juho. Is it Pekka? So my turn to ask. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for the poster. I really like your colors and the icons and everything in your poster. Really nice. Not too much text, and you get the overall picture really easily. I would like to know how you ended up to this kind of concept, which is very overall and holistic. So can you tell me about what you were thinking, to come up with all these kind of solutions in here?
Well, I was sketching in my notebook, something like just thinking about the situation as a whole, and then just figuring out what's the best solution for each problem, and also reading some research about the idea.
Okay, because I can see your poster as a reminder for people living in the world. So if you would put this poster, here and there, it could remind people of how to act in these kind of situations, because this is kind of overall, picture of how to behave and what to remember. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks a lot for your poster, and I really hope that we don't have this COVID-25 scenario. So, and while I was looking at your poster, I think, you listed a lot of elements that's really important to consider. But how about the human, the psychological aspect of, that's actually also important to consider apart from these concrete things to work on. So have it ever come to your mind while you're working on this poster? So what's missing there, in a sense?
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of like to think about humans as a society in this poster.
Thanks. Over to Pekka, because.
All right, thank you, Kallio-Niemi Juho, whose internet was lost. I was thinking when I saw this, this is super clear. I was thinking that That's something that it's not COVID-25, but it's actually COVID today, what we are now seeing. And then and I was thinking that, okay, if one would replace every single element with something that would be like, I don't know, futuristic, like truly going beyond expectation in the terms that what would, for example, annual vaccinations look like if it's the opposite of annual vaccinations? What is the opposite of annual vaccinations? And don't say no vaccinations.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think what I was
yes, go ahead.
What I was really like looking for here was that it would be an every year thing for the new strain instead of just one time only.
Yes, the way it goes now is that you get vaccinated in the army and then you forget it for the rest of your life. Thank you so much, Juho.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up is Lehtovaara Lassi, and after that it's Loppukainen Jussi.
And let's take Juuso Järvinen after Jussi.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. So let me get started here. So great to be at the end of the course here, and thank you to everyone who has like participated and worked towards making this awesome course. So now I'm presenting my idea from the week 3, which was the solutions to the corona pandemic continues longer, and then create like a poster that will have solutions to that scenario. So the assignment also gave a guideline for us to use 15 words or less in the poster. So I took this as an interesting design challenge. So how to design an interesting and beautiful poster that has great ideas, but also stays in that 15-word guideline. So I started working on the problem, and this is my end result. I call it the more movement. So the core idea of the poster is that what are the things that we need more in the future in order to survive, but also return stronger from this pandemic. This idea of the movement could also like evolve into a platform where people could like post things they believe are really important to them and share their perspectives and ideas with like others to inspire the next wave of these world-changing ideas. But now I would like to go through like couple of the words presented and tell like what I believe we need more in this corona time. So first, what I think is really important is to stay optimistic about the future and like strongly believe that the better times are ahead of us and like we can get through this. The second thing that I believe is important is to stay So we live in challenging times right now, but I believe like great challenges always reveal like great opportunities. So I think the pandemic will expose the next wave of these great ideas. The third idea is the importance of teamwork and making joint efforts to solve these great challenges. And last but not least, of course, is learning. So what can we learn from this pandemic, and what can we do in order to prevent something like this happening in the future? But learning also in a way that we stay curious and keep believing that there is a bigger way and a better way to do things. Thank you. And now if you have any questions, please ask.
Okay, I guess it's my turn, right? So thank you, and thanks for this really nice concept. And I can feel also your enthusiasm when you present this poster. Yeah. So I think this is really a good concept and really can motivate, inspire people to do more things to overcome this situation of pandemic. And while I was looking at your poster, I was thinking, you've heard about less is more, no? So you do something more, but you can also do something less to improve the situation. So based on this, based on your how you design this poster. So if one thing you do less than before, what would that be? I'm curious to know.
Oh yeah, that's actually an interesting perspective. Like, I guess also like one thing about this poster is the idea of like none of these things that are presented on the poster. These are not like materialistic things that I would need. Like I would like more money or more like traveling or something like that. But these are more like ideas of like I don't need more materialistic things, but I need more of these like experiences and more of these like the normal things that we all would want, like going to the office, going to the lectures. That would be like I would like more of the normal stuff in the life right now. So
yeah, okay, thanks. So over to Krista and Pekka.
Yes, thank you for this. I like this poster. It kind of reminds me that, you know, what is life all about? And this is it. and remember this. And I like your poster. This is like less is more, and this is it. I like this. Thanks. And Pekka, your turn.
Yes, I'm really taken by this poster, and I felt I was kind of thinking that how to take it further. Then I started thinking this no more movement. I think that when you create a movement in a poster, you think that this should be a movement. It's a grandiose idea. It's a huge idea. Then I was thinking that okay, what is the opposite of these things? That no more. So if there's focus, is it like no more lost, no more dreams would be the opposite of dreams. So if this would be a no more movement, what would the dreams be called then?
yeah, that's also an interesting perspective. I haven't like thought about it from that, but like it's something that I think like what's the opposite of dreams? I think that's an interesting question to be asked. I don't know the answer to that one, but
yes, I think that this can lead to something magnificent. So really inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Loppukaaren Jussi, and after that it's who was it again? Pekka, you.
Who needs to come up next?
Okay.
So Jussi comes next, and after Jussi will come Järvinen.
Okay.
And that's the only influence I have on this. I saw that Jussi was asking in zillion times, so I decided to jump in. Don't want to disturb more the order.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I chose the last week's presentation for this. Okay, sorry. I'm Jussi Loppukaaren, and I chose the one that Mikko gave us. And sadly, last week I couldn't be there to present it due to some internet connections. So I chose this one, which was the first exercise that Mikko gave, and I wanted to show that how we could like how the people could give the when they wanted to get people into the system and how they want to get some people to God, I'm having a hard time with this well, apply for childcare and such, and I thought that maybe it could be some sort of color coding, like, oh, I need help right now, it would be red, I'm offering some sort of relief from time to time, it's green, and I'm offering to take children with me, because I'm taking my own children, it could be like blue. So I had multiple ways of doing this. I made a couple of other posters, but this was the design that I wanted to go to in the end. And I couldn't just take one of the subjects, so I took also some of the security. Maybe it could give security to people if they could choose between showing their location and just an note that's saying I need help then and here. So, and maybe if you show the job title that you have, it would give some sort of security to other parents that this person is a doctor, we can trust him because he treats other people too. and well, the two subjects was that, of course, the map or the notes here. I was struggling between the two, so which one I would choose for this, so I decided to put both of them. And I am pretty proud of this one because I put some effort, more than I did on the couple other posters, and this was a joyful experience for me because I got to really help a person who needed some input on their own project. So this was why I wanted to choose this for also, because I put a lot of effort, but I'm a bit sad that I couldn't get this last week and hear Mikko's feedback on this. So, thank you.
Let's make sure that Mikko receives this idea, and also we are recording this, so this is also visual in that sense, and you have been explaining it very well. I like the fact that you combined the two, so you brought the map and it's more illustrative. It's very easily, when I look at this, I immediately understood what you meant, and that's always good. So you were able to visualize it in a very tangible, concrete way, and I was already imagining in myself, somehow benefiting from this kind of idea. That's always very good. So but you decided something. You used the traffic light indicator, but you left out yellow. So is there a reason for? Is it just a visual reason, or you are a man who doesn't like yellow?
I'm a man who doesn't like yellow, so.
That's okay, you see. We allow that. Thank you. I give it to Krista now. Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking also the color coding and the meaning of the colors, but I really like the indicators of the color. The red is that you need to get some help, immediately, and so on. So what I like about this is that there you have friends, neighbors, and everybody, because this is something that leaders think about then during Mikko's lecture, that who would be the people that you see. Do you allow the friends to take care of your kids or neighbors or everybody, so you get to choose yourself? So this is also what I like a lot about your application and the time. Thank you. Over to Sal.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, and I agree with Pekka and Krista's comments. Even though I couldn't understand the words, but I understood what the app is about. So the poster is communicating to me, yeah, and the design is clear. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Who was the person who was supposed to be next?
Järvinen.
Järvinen Juuso.
Yes. Is my mic working okay?
Yes, it is. You are good to go when we see this work.
Just a moment. So it was Järvinen.
Yes.
It might be difficult to find because it's very uncommon Finnish name. So.
Almost.
What was the file name you used?
I actually didn't use a standard file name. I was Jaaks researching my best work user area.
Oh, okay, yeah, found it.
That's maybe also why the alphabetic order didn't work. But
that might be the reason. Okay, this is your work. Go ahead.
So this is my work for. This is my poster that I made for week 5, which was Krista Karpikoski's week, and for that week we were tasked with developing a service or product for improving people's lives during this crisis. And then we were instructed to design a poster using this kind of potential user profile that you can see on the left, which is basically a description of me. But yeah, but I'll first talk about my thought process. I think my thought process making this was
kind of interesting, and that's kind of why I chose this as like the most meaningful work that I did in this course. And so when I first started doing this task, I first started to think about like what problems I have, like the lack of social contact, and like I can't really meet anyone. So that was what I first started to think about. But then after thinking about that for a while, I actually realized that I don't actually feel a need to meet people. Like personally, I've always been very introverted, so I just kind of started to think about like what people generally talk about as the issues. But then I actually felt like I'm not actually scared of like not having social contact. I'm actually much more scared about getting infected with the virus from like going to the grocery store, which is the biggest risk I take in getting infected, because I need food. And so I actually like that realization that that's actually what I need to fix. And then I started like brainstorming and how would I fix this. And then I ended up remembering a YouTube video that I saw earlier about someone getting coffee from a coffee shop with a drone, like a flying drone. He flew around the city and carried his coffee in like a device attached to the drone. And so I thought that was a very cool video. And so like the video showcased that it was possible to do something like that. Of course, on a much larger scale, maybe it's different, but then I really like that idea. And so this is basically my implementation of the idea of getting like food without actually having to go there physically, which then solves the problem of not risking infection. And then if you make it an automatic system that you can maybe use with your phone, then you can also save time, which is very useful for all people. And so this is basically, if you look on the left, there's a user description or user profile, which is someone who fears the infection and doesn't necessarily like the time spent going to the store. And so the solution is a robotic automatic grocery home delivery service that would need a slight infrastructure development project, but then it would help people very much. I'm not sure if I'm going over time, but I like my thought process here, and that's mostly why I chose this.
Thank you. I remember your presentation very well. It's really nice that you've applied the idea of that drone coffee shop video to this one. And are you planning to do this in the future? Because
it needs a lot of money.
I know.
So,
and it needs a lot of infrastructure, I know, but
like, I'm pretty sure this has to happen at some point. Like I think you mentioned like this also basically happens in China, or at least on some level. So I think this has to happen at some point, and if someone can do it at a reasonable price, then I'm sure they're gonna do well.
Yeah. Thank you. We're tight in time, so I'm going to head this over to Xao and Pekka.
Okay, thanks. And I'd like to ask you your thought process behind this black and white choice, because it's impactful. It does convey the sense of fearful, but somehow it's heavy. So can you explain a little bit?
Actually, this color choice was actually shown on one of the, like I didn't like really think about colors that much before this course, but this was a color design suggestion given on one of Juhani's lectures about how it's a very impactful choice to use like different shades of gray, like from black to white. And so I'm not like very experienced in any kind of design work, but I used like the Juhani's suggestion on the using black, gray, and white colors, and I think it turned out fine. So I think it's a very good suggestion that I got from one of Juhani's lectures, and that's my design thinking behind the colors. I didn't think about like the sincere or dark theme, but I guess it turned out turned out fine.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Thanks. So over to Pekka.
Yes, thank you for this. I would rename the title called Lazy and Fearful. I really like that. That's kind of stuck. Then I started thinking that no, we think that we are lazy, but then again, we do this and that, blah blah blah. But that would be. Now you're just repeating the title twice there in the second box. So that was what I got stuck with. So I remember from this presentation the lazy and fearful, and I think it's a magnificent concept. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you for the second session. So we are close to half of all evaluations and presentations already, but now we are going to have half an hour break and we return back about 12:35. See you then. Hello, welcome to the third session of our final event. We have to speed up a bit because we have over half of the presentation still left there. So we need shorter feedback, and we are going to spend a bit longer session now so that we get the end, all the 35 gone through. After, when we have gone through all the presentations and got the feedback, we are continuing with a short pause during which time you can vote from the presentations your audience favorite, and we are going to give you all the information when all the presentations have been held, and after voting we have the award session. But let's start the third session, speeding up the speed.
Okay, is Mäkelä Ella present?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I chose this poster of mine. It was from the first week, I think, and the assignment was to design something wearable technology. And at that time, the coronavirus was just coming to Finland, and I think it was the first week of home studying. So I chose to combine those two themes of wearable technology and coronavirus. And so I designed these glasses that you can choose what or which virus it makes visible, and you can see there it like shows the virus particles or whatever they are called as like green. And yeah, I chose this as my best because I had fun doing it, and I liked the assignment and the end product that I got there. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, I guess it's my turn to ask if I'm right. So anyway, I was wondering, first of all, I like your poster. You have very good graphic design skills, and I like the colors you have in your poster. And cool idea. I was thinking that this is very good, this kind of an augmented reality application in a way, or a product. I was also thinking, do you have any other thoughts on how this could work? Is it just wearable glasses that you can see the virus, or is it connected to any other service behind it? Like, is it sending information through, digitally somewhere that virus seen and spotted, or anything like that?
I originally thought that just these glasses.
Okay.
And I was thinking like maybe healthcare, or especially healthcare workers, could
utilize these. So I actually started from the thinking like the personal protective equipment right now is super like covering, and like facial expressions are not seen but from the healthcare workers, and they are a precaution. But if you had these glasses and if this technology was possible in any way, maybe the personal protective equipment could be used less.
Okay, so you think that okay, so is this for healthcare personnel's use?
Yeah, I think so. They would benefit from this the most. But of course, why not for the general public? But it maybe can create a little bit of like.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering, that general public would be maybe also happy to use these, and when they go and do shopping and stuff, so they see the virus, so they know what not to touch and where not to go.
Yeah, but I also was thinking like, I bet there's a lot of like the coronavirus everywhere, so we don't notice it. But if we did notice, I think the like panic could be a little bit bigger and more cautious, and that might.
Thank you. I give this over to Xao and Pekka if they have any comments.
Just very quick comment. Really impressed by the design, stylish, simple, and the concept is also nice. So, well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Pekka. I would definitely have these glasses. I thought actually I have glasses like that, so let me put them on. All right, now I can see all the viruses. I was wondering what happened in the later in the course, so that this was your first work and looks amazing. So how did you develop further? Did you get some visibly or something tangible out of the course that benefited you? What was that?
I approached this poster more like from the visual side and just making it look pretty, like honestly. But then during the course, I maybe gained more like different tools for designing, and I didn't like develop my visual side that much, but the design thinking part. So yeah, and I did a lot of more like rough sketches.
Yes, so not so pretty, but rough delivers, like Juhani has been saying many times, delivers a lot of information. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Meneletto Juhani.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Juhani Risku. I'll try to be as short as possible. So my mission was to react to the problem of the supply chain disruption due to COVID and the lack of critical components and machines. So I basically concentrated and simplified my original concept that I presented, and I feel that there will be a project for creating a standard or a paradigm shift relating to the fourth industrial revolution. So basically the idea is to combine all information for creating something in the same file. And it could be the 3D model, assembly instructions, basically what electrical components are needed, can they be sourced off the shelf products, and maybe even code or even code. And the development could happen mostly using the open source logical mentality. And idea is to bring also the Internet of Skills into the file. And at the moment, everybody can print who has a printer, but can everyone build if it's a more complex design? So this would bring the kind of like the required expertise lower. And I feel that this is relevant. It can be done now, and I believe it has a high impact potential. Concerning the visuals, the previous version, I had my own kind of like sketches on it, but I decided that I'm going to put real images, and I wanted to focus on humans and people, so that's why I changed the kind of the visual style. I maybe make it a little bit more compact. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Juhani. Thanks for the presentation. Actually, I agree with you. I actually saw your last week's presentation. So it was a huge improvement from the last version. So well done. And I think I like this concept of this open building process. And that's also my comment, where my comment comes. I think this openness, the sense of openness, was not so strongly represented by the poster. So could you comment on this?
Yes, there was kind of like a limit of the wording, so I decided to just use on the left-hand corner there's the open source hardware and the open source initiative, so I decided that those are the kind of like the logos that represent the openness on this.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I think this is not my main comment. I hand over to Krista.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. What I like about this is big thinking and the openness. And I like the concept and thought of internet of skills. That's something really cool, what I think this represents. So thanks for this. I like this idea. And Pekka.
Yes, Juhani, idea is great. I think I like more the last version, however. I saw that as well. It was rough, more rough. This is more, let's say, well-picked pictures, descriptive, but they are too clean. Because this kind of re-engineering paradigm that you proposed, it has a rough undertaking. It's not a slick and clean process. And now it became slick and clean, and I like the earlier version. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Mäkitalo Matilda.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Matilda Mäkitalo. And for this final event, I chose to present the COVID assignment, where we had to come up with solutions and ideas to help with the current situation. And I chose these posters since I really like the contrast of Takete and Malumba in this, with my own sketch-like drawing, soft and broken tones, topped with clear graphics. But most importantly, the idea in this poster is very important and eye-opening in my opinion, and that is the main reason I decided to present this particular poster. And through this poster, I want to normalize working alone and being alone in general. Because being alone is considered not normal or uncomfortable by the current social standards. And during the current situation, people are forced to stay home. And in today's society, loneliness is hidden behind the continuous information flow. And being alone is not recognized as a normal setting. But there are numerous advantages in working alone that need more recognition. And for my poster, I chose a few positive outcomes of working alone, which are the following: skills, acknowledgement, time management, enhanced self-awareness, creative problem solving, and unique innovations. And some of the previous outcomes are products of lack of group thinking. So individuals are able to produce unique ideas and innovations without the major influence of others. So let's normalize being alone together. Thank you.
That's a great ending. Let's normalize. How did it go? Let's normalize. Can you repeat that?
Let's normalize being alone together.
That's good.
Yeah.
we cannot hear you.
That's very good because I had my microphone muted, so I was thinking to myself. But I really like that ending part, and I think it could actually be on the poster as well. I think that you have made this stealth-working look like something very positive, and I really like that because in the times that we live in, we always emphasize teamwork and team effort being the only effort that actually carries. You have made it, you take distance from that. So how have you seen this course where you actually had to self-work all the assignments? How has that been like? Is it visible here somehow?
Yeah. During this course, I have found that working alone is. I think I get more ideas and innovations. And before this course, I had super high standards for my own work. So during this course, I've been more daring to try new things and drawing. I don't recognize myself as like really good drawer, but I still decided to pick this poster with my own drawing, which is like not great, but I still really like it.
Yes. It looks wonderful. Thank you. I move it to Krista.
Thank you for this, and I think your drawing is great. You should do more of that. I like your poster first of all, and I like your thinking here, and looking at the positive sides of working alone. Also, teamwork. When we think of teams, they are hard. I mean, they are. About individuals and their skills and their ideas and their everything. So a good team is always of good individuals. So I think that thinking at in individual level is really good in these times. I like this concept and your poster of thinking about this. I give this to Xiao now. Your turn.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think your poster gives us another perspective of working alone, and that's really an impressive message. Thank you, and very good design. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Niemi Jere. He has prepared us video, so I'm not sure if he's present. If you are, say now, and if not, I will play the video. So I will play the video then.
Hello and welcome to listen my poster presentation. This poster was last week assignment and it has been developed for parents and kids. Parents may face a problem that there are not any place for a kid after school. Parents don't want that kid is being alone after school at home. That is why I've invented this app, Kid Dance. Parents are able to create own groups for children and they can plan seamlessly after school activities. Parents are able to announce if they have time to create activities, what they will do, and share the cost on app. Enrollment has been made effortless, only yes or no answers. This is intended to make daily life of the parents easier. A lot of parents are facing the same problem every day. What is my side doing? To improve trust, parents are able to create own groups. You cannot notify all the users of your after-school activities, only in the groups. And why should this win this Choice Award? This is practical, reasonable, and would enhance the quality of children's life.
Okay. Any comments? If not, I will put on the next one.
Let's move on to next.
Yeah. Next up is Nurmi Viljami.
All right. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, wonderful.
All right, hello to everyone. I'm Viljami, and this is my favorite assignment from this course. Let me start off by saying that it is not the prettiest poster I made, but I think it's the best idea I had on this course, and I think that is what mattered more. So the assignment here was that we needed to design and create an application from this guy's idea, and the idea was a childcare app which works through procality among friends. So basically you take care of somebody else's kids for free, and in exchange they will take care of your kids for free. And I must admit that when I heard this idea, I didn't believe it was enough for an application, just that certain idea. So I was thinking that, how could I expand this and make it a real working product? So I used service design, and I came up with these features that I think will expand the product enough to make it a viable product, really. Because I saw problems that it was only for friends, and I saw problems that it was through procality, which, they only work at certain terms. So it's not guaranteed benefit for the user then. And I wanted to make that the user is guaranteed a benefit when he uses the app. So I don't really have time to go through what I done, since last week I had 5 minutes and that was barely enough. Now I have 2 and I already gone through 1, but you can see them right in front of you. Yeah, and I think this is my best work because I think this is what design essentially is. It's offering a creative solution to a real life problem, and I think that is the pinnacle of design. It's not just aesthetics. I think the usability is more important part of the design than aesthetics. If something is pretty and doesn't work, what's the point? If it can be work and be pretty, I think that's why I chose this as my best work. Thank you.
I have a question about the design process. Did you come up all the features that you created here? Did you come up with them all by yourself, or did you do brainstorming and ideation with some people, or how did you end up to all?
Yeah, I think I made them myself with these ideas. But the thing is that I listened when Mikko talked about his idea, and he mentioned something like those events things I have on there, and he mentioned a little bit things like social media, and I was thinking when I was listening to him that, hey, this guy, he has the answers in his speak, but he doesn't just know how to utilize them. So I took some cues from him and used them, to expand it even more. But they are basically my own productions, really.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Now, Sava and Pekka, your turn.
Okay, so I'm wondering which key aspect or key concept of service design is reflected in this poster. So can you highlight some elements in this poster that? Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually, I made an English version of this poster too for for you guys to understand. But I don't know why the Finnish version was chosen here. But I think it was the features that the user has to have a content in the application, and the thing what I came towards was that you need to understand the user's core need, what he or she is looking from the application, and what I made these features are to fulfill that need, because you are designing for the user after all.
Thanks. Over to Pekka, if Pekka has comment.
Yes, of course, Pekka has a comment. Thank you, Viljami, for the presentation. I was initially shocked, and then I was, okay, now we have a huge SWOT analysis being done. And then I was so happy to say that you didn't approach that you are going to, you are using that, but you said then that I used I saw problems, I used service design process to come up with solutions, and like, okay, now it becomes very interesting. And then you said the punchline that it's not enough to be pretty, you have to have a solid idea. And I think that you grounded it very well. And I wanted to hear more about, we don't have now time, but I wanted to hear more about that. service design process discovery, because you have now discovered something and you yourself clearly you're very proud of it. So it would have been very nice to hear more about these insightful, like how one comes with something insight. Because if it's possible to put it in a process, then everybody would be doing it. So you have discovered something that is hard to explain, most likely. But hey, that was just a comment, William. Good work. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Paula-Harju Valtteri.
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So, hello everyone. My name is Valtteri Paula-Harju, and the task for this work was requested by Mikko Rantalampi last week. So the problem was to ideate a software application which would be helpful to parents of children in the way that they can, even with a short notice, get a babysitter so that they can attend their own activities and perhaps get an occasional breather from the buzz of parental life. So I created this concept of Fanny, find a nanny. So if you could please scroll to the next page. Yeah, so first of all, I started my planning process with the question, what kind of an app would actually be used, possibly even by millions of users around the world. And this, I believe, requires a high level of simplicity. So this is why I tried to make this concept as simplistic as possible. So here is a draft of how it would look to the parents creating a search for a babysitter. You basically set up the details of your requested gig. And please, the next page. So then here is the result of the search for your babysitter. All the available babysitters or nannies are listed on the page, and on the map you can see a rough idea of where they live. There is the price for the entire gig, the reviews, and so on. So on this page you can basically just send a request to the babysitter that you would like to hire. So the original wish was to ideate a service which would replace WhatsApp groups between parents who know themselves already and ask one another for help in babysitting. A service which would essentially create small communities of parents who already know themselves. And I kind of pondered this for a while and reflected my own experiences in babysitting my cousin's children, and thought that perhaps relatives and friends would not be so willing to take money for such services from another. So I thus expanded it to include basically anyone who is able to and wants to babysit children. And I think this kind of service would help parents easily find a space of freedom from the business of parental life, and at the same time a possibility for other people to earn extra money while providing valuable help to people. And I also believe that such a concept would be easily scaled internationally. This is also the kind of service I could imagine using myself, both way around. And well, to conclude, I chose this work out of all the others because I feel that out of the other works that we have done during the previous weeks, this was the most complete in the sense of a possible real product. So thank you.
Thanks. I guess it's my turn, right? First of all, I think you had a great name for this app. So great name is half success already for startups, for projects. So really nice. And also I like the mock-ups you presented here. So have you tried out this with someone, or this is pure just your design? Is there any iterative process behind?
Well, I have interviewed a couple of people with and without children, and there was some iteration with previous ideas with after the interviews, but mostly my own ideation. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I like your thinking overall, and this UI UX, you get to see the user experience while you showed all these kind of views that you have. I like your visuals, they're nice, and I get the idea of how to use this easily. But I was also thinking that did you test this UI with anybody to get any feedback?
No, I actually haven't tested the UI with anyone, so.
Okay, this would be nice to do maybe in the future to get some feedback. But people think about this, how they would use this and if this could work.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Pekka.
Thank you, Valtteri. I have been following the discussion, the heated discussion, and what fanny means in Urban Dictionary. And you, Valtteri, want to study that carefully because that is an interesting. So I got a bit stuck with the name, I have this
if I can take a little bit part on the name discussion. So the thing I would regard this name thing as more like a scandalous marketing like element in this whole project. So this is a project name, and I would definitely not name the final product this. So well, at least it created like a needed buzz around this.
It's a good working name.
And it's also sound doesn't know now what it means, but you go check the Urban Dictionary quickly and you will know. And but you are Valtteri right. This is the only presentation that has been discussed and laughed and smiled and So it created emotions. Emotions are those that we remember. Your presentation will be remembered. Thank you, Valtteri.
Thank you very much.
And now shall go to Urban Dictionary.
Next up is Juhani Risku. He has also prepared us with the video. Unless he's here, I'm gonna play the video now.
The COVID pandemic has lasted 5 years, which have forced companies to develop new infrared technologies for social interaction. With revolutionary holography, user can interact with friends, colleagues, or anyone they desire, just like in real life, safely from their own house without fear of getting disease. Remote classrooms have replaced traditional ones, as students participate from their own house as if they were physically at school. Malls have produced virtual shopping centers where users can try clothes on themselves or see and try products they are about to buy. Friends can meet each other in various environments, watching movies, playing games, or just chatting and catching up just like before the pandemic. The solution is basically for anyone who experiences that traditional video call isn't enough and who wants safely to actually meet friends or to look anything else than four walls for a while.
Next up is Rajapolvi Manu.
Okay, yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, I did my presentation or the work on Mikko's task, which was kind of like this childcare application thing, and his idea was to sort of build like Uber or Airbnb thing where nannies have like hourly rates and ratings and so on. And the way I saw it when I followed his like lecture and so on, I was inspired by the like history of childcare communities, villages and so on. So it seemed really middle class, because you would have to pay for like childcare services and so on. So I thought about why not create a Tinder for families. So basically you create a Tinder profile for your family. You can put on the profile like your hobbies and so on, and find families who have like similar hobbies. And together with these families, you can form these nests where you can divide like the childcare among families within your community. So basically, if you have like 7 families in your nest, you have to take care of like really many children only on like one night of the week, and for like the rest of the time, the other families take care of your children. So you have so much time for hobbies and pursuing your career and everything else. And on the design here, I used the Canva application. It has some like really nice fonts and these stickers, which like, I don't know, I get the feeling they're like different kinds of families and they're all sharing a happy community. Thank you, I guess.
Thank you. I can start by asking and commenting. What happens when you swipe left?
Well, if you swipe left, you don't like really agree with that family, and like if you have used Tinder, it just gives you like a new family, and you can like browse their profile and so on. So
I use Tinder every day. I was even listening to this Tinder. I read the book by Sanna Kiski, so I'm expert these days with Tinder activity.
Okay.
So now, so have you used Tinder?
Oh, perhaps in the past.
Oh, it's like several years ago. All right, so I wanted you to comment on the Tinder is completely based on if you like the picture. So do you think that the family should also be that if you like how the family looks?
Well, it depends. Like, you are the one who chooses your own community and the one those families you match with. So naturally, like, you could use pictures, and if you don't like the picture, then, well, I guess you're close-minded, and so.
I am swiping this now to Krista.
I like this idea. It's something new. I think it's really cool. Have you also been thinking of the UI and you know, how would it look like? Would it be like Tinder or something?
Pretty similar, like with Tinder, but also with like features like if you form the community with like other families, you would have like calendar and chat where you could like agree about your like goings and goings.
So maybe a bit more features than what the Tinder itself has.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this. Now I give this over to Xao.
Yeah, if you stop before mentioning Tinder, probably I would be your user. Now I'm not sure, but I think I really like the poster design, and it's cheerful, playful. So it's really, I think it's a good design for an app that intends for children, family, kids service. So I like it.
Great. I like the visuals.
Right, thank you.
Really nice. Thanks.
Okay, next up is Rauhala Anjamari, although she has also made a video, so I assume she's not here.
Hello, my name is Anjamari Rauhala, and this is my presentation for this last lecture of course Passive Front-End Design. I picked exercise number 5, which is related to service design called PAMU in Finnish, because that is the most interesting topic for me. Why this is interesting for me? Because at first we have end user with needs, and we have to design and concept a model or a product to tackle these needs. About this work, the end user is 75 years old, retired grandmother. She misses social contacts and even doing shopping herself. My approach to solve this issue is to design glasses with full of the latest technology. By using holograms and robots, we can enable real-time shopping and social contacts. This product, as it already meets the needs in the future, more features can be implemented to these products, scenes and traveling experiences. The product suits very well the current situation. Nowadays, shopping culture is also changing thanks to new technology like IoT and AI, which open possibilities heavily. This concept should get a lot of attention because people is getting older, and that's why we need such an invention to make life easier, not only for the older people but everyone. That was my presentation. Thank you very much and have a nice week.
Next up is Rauti. No, I think Rauti and William already showed the presentation.
Yeah.
So it's Savolainen Anna. Is Savolainen Anna present?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Hear me?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, nice. Okay, so my name is Anna and I'm, how to say, supplement my studies. I take my master paper out last summer School of Economics. I have been working the last 15 years in plant, so I'm curious, but I have no experience this kind of work at all. It has been great to see many great work at this course, and this is my corona poster. I think that in this change situation, it would be good to support domestic food production, especially local food. This idea was born because of several different perspectives. Maybe this kind of crisis helps to understand the importance of, how it say, self-sufficiency. Maybe. I think it is important that we have enough food so that we produce the basic ingredients and we are not dependent on imports. Second, for example, when talking about corona, it has been also discussed about effect of antibiotic resistance to mortality. Finnish food is clean, I think, and we can cherish that in Finland farm animals are not fed full with antibiotics while hoping higher productivity. And also now during corona time, it has been in headlines to support small local business. I think when you're using local food, you support local entrepreneur, and that way also supporting small local business. That's why my poster looks like that.
Thank you, Anna, for your presentation. I like your poster. It's very fresh looking. Did you have any overall holistic concept thought, like and think of this as a service? So what kind of features and elements your service consists of, for example, applications or
I thought that, but I think maybe I think this little easier. Maybe I think that our own small, how would say, core market could sell products which are in here some, how would say, some farm or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking that you could go into many directions with this concept, depending on where you want to apply it.
Yes, I like use how it say there is some kind of car which are free eggs you could buy it. It's right straight in the farm and something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I was also thinking, for example, these K markets, as you said, more information could be provided on the products that they sell, especially Finnish products and local products, so people could be more aware of what they are buying and eating. But yeah, there are many opportunities with this kind of concept. Thank you. I give this over to Sao and Pekka.
Yeah, I totally agree with the poster. So it looks so fresh, and this blueberry choice is really nice because it's definitely one thing I would associate with a Finnish product because I remember this very well. And one question, curiosity also. So did you create this image yourself, this photo yourself, or you reuse some sources?
I use sources. There is the text how it's a pixabay, where I find this picture. I try to find this kind of blueberry picture and like this.
It worked really well with in this poster. Thanks. Pekka, over to.
Yes, thank you. I was from a visual perspective, this is outstanding, huge work. I thought that's from Anna magazine. So I was thinking that's Anna magazine's headline, and I didn't readily make the connection with the COVID stuff. I would have perhaps seen the link to the crisis, so this would be even more effective somehow, because this could be like every year we could have this poster. It would communicate well, but how is connected even better with the crisis, because you had the connection there. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up is Singh Sami. There are 2 PDFs here, so hopefully I will take the correct.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright, so can you open the multi-page PDF? Yeah, this one, exactly. So the other one is basically the same, but just fit into one page. But my idea is, or the thing I'm presenting is more of a concept and not a concrete product. But basically, to sum it up, the issue is we have several ways we are using to identify ourselves online, and they are very problematic in their current state. And the minimum required level of ableness everybody needs to possess in order to participate in our society is too high. So basically, this prompt came from Juhani when he gave me basically free reins to do something for the common good. And I kind of thought at first, should I design something totally new that would benefit everybody, or should I focus on something that we think that we have already solved, but actually we maybe haven't? So I started to think about people who are facing issues with how the current status in our society is. And I found out that there are several tens of thousands of people in Finland who have problems with managing their daily lives because of how we have organized our digital services and how we have basically made it how we are doing business and looking for jobs and basically just living our lives. So the problems I'm presenting here are creating socioeconomic issues on several levels on our society, but especially on those who are not in a perfect physical or mental health, or if they are not wealthy enough. And I find these issues that they are very discriminatory and inhuman, and they could be fixed and solved, and I wanted to work on something that wouldn't need enormous futuristic innovations and something that would only be possible in the far future, so something that we could actually do today. So could you go to the next slide, please? So to open up the issues, first off, regular mail, so paper mail we're sending, it is insecure and untrustworthy, so you never know if somebody has received your letter, you don't know who has read it. It is slow, letters get lost. Then we have lots of digital services you need to use in order to be a product member of the society, like Oma Vero and Oma Posti and Kela and TE-toimisto services and all of these. But they don't serve the people and they're too spread out. So it raises the barrier for everybody who tries to operate those. Thirdly, we rely very heavily on email in our daily lives, for example, for job searches and accounts on services and sending files and communicating with businesses and possible employers and just in our free time with our people we know. But everybody's using most likely a free email service, and those can go down anytime, and there is no proper security in place either. And then for the last issue, none of these really take into consideration personal circumstances. So if you have issues with, for example, your vision or hearing, you might have issues, for example, logging into a bank, or if you have what's called a maksuhäiriömerkintä, so you haven't been able to pay your bills, for example, because you haven't had any money, you might not be granted a bank account. And if you don't have a bank account, how are you going to authenticate for any services like Kela, where you can apply for money so that you can actually live? So on to the next slide, please. I propose two different kinds of products as the solution. So first off would be a secure end-to-end encrypted email service that everybody who lives in Finland has access to. Basically, you can email everybody you have the address for. So be it businesses or be it individuals, you could send those emails. So, but in the same service, you could also discuss with different official entities like Kela and Vero and these. So, for example, if you want to do a study grant application, then you could send all the attachments and have the discussion directly in this app. And this would go for all the official services, so everybody and everything is brought into one simple place. There's also the benefit of you always know when your messages are received on the other end and who has opened them up, so it gives a lot more transparency. For example, I've had to fight with Kela and TE-toimisto because they claim they haven't received my papers, for example, and they just try to wiggle out of their way, not having to pay people. And it has been a big problem for several people. And this service would need a person to have a physical Finnish address. So for example, if you're on the verge of homelessness or you are homeless, you don't need to have an address to get physical paper mail, because you can use this at the library, or you can use it on your phone or anywhere basically.
Sami, you need to wrap up now.
Yeah, okay, sorry, next slide. Next slide. And the second part would be basically an ID card that uses biometric information, and this would basically be used to authenticating on all the services. So it would remove the need to use tupas and bank accounts and everything for identification. So these two products would be basically basic Finnish human rights. So everybody has access to digital services, and the barrier for using them has been brought way, way lower. So everybody has access to being a product member of the society. Thank you.
Thanks, Sami. So, okay, I think because this is a different design style than what I saw previously presented now. So I want to ask you, can you tell me what is the central design artifact from your work?
It is basically the concept and idea on how we bring digital services so that they are actually accessible to everybody in Finland and not just those who are able in body and mind.
Yeah. And do you have a keyword or a word for this concept? Because I think to communicate this concept, you need a name for it, right?
Yeah. So basically, for the identification, I went with Suomi ID. Currently, we have what's called luottamusverkosto, and we have tupas, and we have EIDAS, which are all different ways of authenticating, but all are very fractured, and you can't use the same identification on all services. So we need one unified. So I went with Suomi ID, and then Suomi Mail, basically.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification. Okay. So I guess this is a service design stream you are taking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so over to Krista and Pekka.
Thank you, Sami. Very well thought 3 solutions, something I would have needed myself in Norway. For example, very finalized looks in the UI and very finalized look in the card as well, which we see here. And very well thought stuff. And I think this could be taken to Finnish authorities to be thought of and considered on how to deliver services in other ways than just having digital bank accounts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now,
Thank you.
Pekka.
Yes, Sami, the existing online identity system is already broken in many ways.
I'm sorry, Pekka, I can't hear you.
Fine. I just went to Lappi. All right, can you hear me now? Maybe my voice is breaking.
Yeah, I think yeah.
All right, I do my best. I guess my internet connection is suffering. So I'm just highlighting the importance of this ideating, concepting you have done. I just spent a weekend to help my mom to get access to this newspaper called Lappi Kansa. There's like 2 people in the world who read it, but it's very important for Lappi people. But it's better, they require a change of password every now and then. It's a complete mess. So this kind of ideating is really needed. It's powerful thinking. And I think that there are global initiatives that have not perhaps been thought like this, but there are initiatives taken into this way. But I think Sami has big thinking here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Sinna Pirinen, and she has also provided a video, so I will play it, and after that we have a small 5-minute break. So.
Hi, I'm Sinna, and
okay.
I'm not able to join to the Zoom meeting on Monday, so this is my video about my poster, and my picture is there on the top left. And I designed this poster to the last exercise that we had, and we had to create an application to find a nanny to children, and the main idea was that parents are helping other parents. And I decided to create an application where parents can make groups with other parents, and I concentrated to the idea that making plans and finding own time for the parents could be easy and also fun. So I wanted to use gamification to make the application more user-friendly. And then to the poster itself, I decided to choose pretty bright colors, and maybe in the future I wouldn't do that. That's what I think. But however, I think this is my best work so far. And I think the texts are pretty good, and they give a nice description about the application, and I think it just looks great with the pictures. So those are my ideas about the poster, which I made. Maybe the color is not the best, but that's how I roll. So thank you for listening, and yes.
Okay, now we will take a 5-minute break, so in 5 minutes we will continue. event, and the next presenter will be Suomela Ville. Is Suomela Ville present?
We go to the next one and ask later if he's...
Okay.
It seems that he's around, but there's some mic issues. He will reconnect and we will go to the next meanwhile.
Okay, so
yes.
Instead we have Sutinen Aino. Is Sutinen Aino?
Yes, I'm here. So the task was to create solutions for the future after COVID-19, and there was limitation to use less than 50 words. My approach was to focus on the fact that COVID-19 and several other epidemics and pandemics have been zoonotic diseases, and kind of like remind the viewer of this. So the goal really was to awaken some thoughts about the subject. The biggest decisions I had to make were which diseases to choose. I started with just SARS and COVID, but felt it needed some more. And first I added Ebola, but changed it to H1N1 instead. I like this one most from all my works in this course. I think it makes kind of complex thing into literally black and white, and it also hits where it hurts, because looking at it I felt that we are in this never-ending cycle and still not really changing anything. Yep.
Is it Krista who is going now?
Oh, yeah, could be. Afternoon is getting me. Anyway, nice black and white, simple poster, and nice overall thinking of SARS, H1N1, and COVID-19. Could you describe again what was the main point of all this?
Yeah, so the main point was that I started looking into like what really is the COVID-19, and I thought that okay, it's a zoonotic disease, and that reminded me, wasn't SARS also like kind of? Yeah. And when I looked into it, I noticed that there have been several zoonotic diseases that have grown into well-known epidemics and pandemics. So yeah. I kind of wanted to remind of that fact that maybe we should like start thinking about that more and try to prevent the next one instead of going as we are.
How would you take this viral? I mean, to people to remind them about all this?
I'm not actually really sure. I was first thinking that maybe it would work like more as a set of posters.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure how it would like realistically go viral.
That's fine. Now, Sara and Pekka, your turn.
Yeah, I'll tell you what my reaction when I saw this poster. I saw the knife and forks, and then you said that none of these diseases came from plants. So I was thinking, okay, maybe we should all become vegetarian rather than eating the meat. So actually, that's my first reaction of this. So my question will be really probably like what Krista asked. What's the key message here that this poster wants to convey? Maybe different people look at it will have different interpretations, and which one is what you intended. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like intended to raise questions about how we view animals and like animal industry and all that kind of stuff, because the animal industry is so big and it has many problems, but it's kind of easier to just look away from it than face the problems there is. And I kind of wanted to like awaken the thoughts to like actually look at it instead of like.
Okay, thanks for clarification. Over to Pekka now.
So when I start to look at the presentation or a poster in this case, I always write the name of the poster in my paper. And now this didn't have a name, so I was stuck with that. So when you were done, I had the same problem as Krista, is that what was the main message, because I was stuck with finding the name. But so then I wrote their plans at the end. So I was thinking that this has such a powerful message and it's very well laid out. I don't even think you need the food industry or those forks and knives and the farm. I think it's just the bat leads to SARS, pig leads to H1N1, and bat leads to COVID-19, and then you can make the eat plants or something. I don't know. I mean, because this is like this is very. I mean, this was very curious. I like when the thing makes you wonder. So I like that. But we have to move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's try again. Has Suomela-Ville fixed the issues?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. I will put up on the presentation.
Yeah. So this poster was also for the coronavirus assignment and how the future is possibly going to look like. And the reason why I chose this one to present today was basically because I think that it got the most positive feedback out of all of my designs during this course. And I do also think that this is quite effective as a poster. It's kind of simplistic, humorous, perhaps even a little bit childish. But I do think that this is something that you could actually see as a poster on a grimy wall somewhere. And I ended up with this solution after I saw a social media post by a Finnish underwear company called Mähönen Brothers, where one of the employees was wearing their underpants as a kind of a face mask / beanie. And that's where I got the idea. So what I was thinking about was to make some sort of dystopian or video game themed poster. And what I was going for was essentially a poster that looked like something that anyone with a marker or perhaps some spray paint could make and post around the city as a kind of public service announcement. So in this design I attempted to combine some aspects of street art and graffiti style. And yeah, I don't think that this provides a definitive solution for the pandemic in a sense, but it's perhaps a possible view for like what's the future going to look like. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think you're for sure the humorous effect you with your poster achieved. I really smiled when looking at your poster, and really from design perspective I like it. And if I understand well, so actually this poster intends not really to propose a solution for the shortage of masks, but more to convey a message, right? So what is this key message you want to convey with this poster?
Yeah, I was thinking like in the future this would be like a, like I said, like a public service announcement for people that you can easily make textile face mask using old clothing when the equipment is running low. So that was the basic idea.
Yeah. Okay, probably over to Krista.
Yeah, this is funny and really funny. And then I also like your poster itself. I like the design and the colors and the graphics and fonts and everything. And this is a very nice humoristic concept. So yeah, very good.
All right, is it me now? Yes. I think it's yes. I agree with the others. It's funny. It has good message, but it has way too much text. So you're in a way you're like saying many times the same thing. So I would have just said running low question mark. Create your own textile face max. That's it.
Yeah.
So then everybody would have even understood. It would be even more astonishing, because now you are somehow emphasizing the old underwear. Man, I don't know where you come from, but in the place where I come from, old underwear is not the thing you to do. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you.
Next up is Torkki Otto, and he has a video, unless he's present here. I assume not, so I will play the video.
Hello, my name is Otto Torkki, and I'm going to represent my best creation on this course, Futsi Front End, on this stream. So when I thought what work from this course I would like to bring up on this last meeting, I thought the processes of what did I do, how good was my final solution, and would it bring any value to people's life. And these were my criteria that I decided when picking my last assignment. And I came up to this conclusion that it was my poster, Isolated, which was an app developed to time after Corona. In that app, people could help each other and provide help on the app, like on the forms of going to shops or going to pharmacy or just talking to other people who are lonely. And when I did this job, I felt like I made some choices, like I want to segment this service or app to people who are old and also to people who are young. And I think that was the main thing, that I could provide a good app on each age group, not just the risk group and young people, but to combine them. And when I did this assignment, I felt really that I did some good thinking processes of how I want to execute this work, and I was proud of it. So there you go, and now you can see my poster.
Okay, I will put on the poster. Just a moment. Everyone seen it? Next up is Valleala Annika.
Yes, mä oon täällä. Alright, I chose as my best work the one for Krista Kosonen. Mainly because I think both my solution and my poster were the best of what I did on this course, on this one. So the idea of this one is to provide means for family members or dating couples who are apart geographically in different countries or different continents to meet during this COVID crisis. And I was inspired by because my own boyfriend lives in California, and I just desperately wanted a means to meet him as soon as possible. And that's how I came up with this idea of a service that ships these people from different parts of the world to one place, to a quarantined location where they would like continue their quarantined everyday life as it has been for a few months now, but together in a separate place that would have like it could be like a single flat or something with a kitchen and bedroom and living room, and they would just continue their life there for a few weeks and then they would be shipped back. And it could be more than 2 people, and if there's like any kind of signs of the coronavirus infection on any of the people visiting, then they would be treated accordingly in that location. And that was my idea. And about the poster, well, I was kind of flying on a pink cloud when I was doing this, so that's what inspired it. The only thing that kind of bothers me about the poster is that I had to flip the background picture upside down because I wanted the pink clouds on top. And then you see between the plane and the folded clothes, there's a bird, and it's flying upside down because I had to flip the whole picture. But I couldn't do anything with that, so I could have covered the bird actually, but maybe I will. That's it.
All right, thanks so much. I can see romance here, and I can see a lot of heart. My question is, have you shown this to your boyfriend in California? Have you shown what are your plans?
I think I did, yeah.
How did he react to this?
He wished it was real and could happen.
Yes, I can imagine. I think that there is also one thing that could alleviate this kind of situation is that there is that the planning part would be if you know when you can meet. I mean, if you know that you can meet in October 5th, then everything would be different because then you would be planning for that.
Yes.
And that would be, but now that you don't know the dates, it's even harder. Yes. So I feel for you. I hope that this comes to reality. I give it to Krista. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And the bird upside down, it doesn't matter. And I like the pink clouds. And as last time I told you, I really like your poster and I like your visual skills to create something like this and to present stuff like this. Very good concept and nice thought. And yeah, that's it. Good work overall.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this poster gives a very warm feeling that's really needed during this period. And I think the even though I don't think the solution actually is feasible, but to go beyond the limit and to think about what we could do, I think the message sent out by this poster is really nice. So thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Vakanen Emilia, and she has a video, unless she's here. Yeah, I will play the video.
Hi, I'm Emilia, and here is the poster that I chose to present today. One of my dreams has always been to have a cat, so that's the story behind the topic of this poster. In my opinion, the assignment was a bit fussy, and that's why I'm not quite sure if my poster fits the assignment or not. I'm pretty happy about how it turned out, and I think that I wouldn't change anything about it. I like the colors that I chose for this poster, and well, the cat looks happy, so I'm happy. Thank you.
Next up is Vatanen Jessi.
Yep. Okay.
Hello everyone. This was the first task on this course, and last week I improved with this poster a little bit, the final form. So I designed a jacket that utilized technology. I wanted to create a jacket which is multi-purpose. In this poster, I present many different features of the jacket because the purpose was to show what kind of features in the jacket would be, but in the final product, the technologies would be different in the jacket for the different target groups. And I chose this poster from my old works because this poster is the best combination of good ideas and good layout, I think. And I create the figures myself, so I think that they express kind of vibes that I wanted. So I'm happy with that. Thank you.
I guess it's my turn to ask or comment. So you have heart rate measurements, temperature control, GPS locator, map, and payment feature, Bluetooth. Okay, a lot of everything. How is this a summer jacket, winter jacket, or all season? You know, jackets for all seasons in our.
Can be kind of all weather jacket because you can change the temperatures.
Okay.
So, but that's why most of the features in the poster is more like kind of maybe sports.
Okay.
But that's why I say that you can kind of translate it more like a fashion jacket or like a chill out jacket.
Yeah, this also could work together with applications and watches like Polar and all these kind of which measure heart rate and stuff. So you could kind of attach this you know jacket and the other technology that exists in the market. Then this reminded me of maybe you're interested to have a look at Jonna Häkkinen. She's a professor of design here in the University of Lapland, and she does all these kind of wearable stuff, designs all kinds of technologies and stuff, and applies them on clothing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she does all this kind of stuff here in the Faculty of Arts and Design. So, and they have a lot of projects ongoing, and they have written a lot of articles, and they have had some exhibitions on wearables in clothing, how they could work, and yeah.
Oh, cool.
Have a look, Jonna Häkkinen, so you will find her and the stuff. Yeah. Now, Sal and Pekka, your turn.
Okay, thanks. I like the design, really, the style of the design. And what I want to know is your thought, how this design style is associated to this concept of smartness. So, how do you use the design element to, apart from the words you use? Of course, you have text to see this is a smart jacket. But have you put any thought to use the design element to convey this smartness?
Actually, I don't know yet.
Yeah, I like very much the style, the design picture here. Yeah, I was thinking that it can also, you know, can convey in a good way the smart concept.
Yeah.
Later, yeah. Thanks. So, over to Pekka. I don't know if you want to comment or answer. Okay, so probably over to Pekka to comment others.
All right, yes, I remember this from the very first time we were looking at the outcomes, where I was very impressed that if this is the outcome of the very first work, what will happen next? So I would just ask what happened in the following. How did your design attitude or style change towards later the course?
Later works I tried some little bit different styles, but still I think that was the best one.
That's okay, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, because I did couple these kind of pictures earlier, so okay.
Thank you so much. Let's move further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Vesanen Milla, and after that is Sadino Maria.
she is not here. So let's move on to the next one.
So Trudina Maria.
Okay, yeah, I guess this is mine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I also did I chose the Corona thing, and my theme was not exactly 5 years over, but 4 years over, because Olympics are obviously every 4th year. So this is my vision that may actually happen. So I tried to approach this theme as a realistic one. So because now a lot of sports events have been cancelled because there's like health issues because of Corona. So I imagined, because Olympics are such a big thing, they want to keep them, and then this is like a modification they made to be able to continue with the games, but in like a hygienic way. So as you can see, this is a poster for Olympics like the next Olympics, and it says that experience the new era of sports. So all the sports have been modified somehow to implement these bubbles that no viruses can pass through, because the health is the most important thing for the athletes to vary. So they want to stay safe, and so they're kind of actually in the bubbles. So there you can also see that the explanation that to ensure the health of the athletes, all the sports competitions are now executed in special protective bubbles. So in the pictures you see football and running and gymnastics and ballet and water gymnastics and even water soccer or whatever that is. So I like this idea because this actually exists. All the pictures are real. I haven't I just found these. I modified them a little bit, but like this exists right now. So it's just like an implementation of already existing thing in a more bigger way, like in a more bigger scale, to be able to continue with our daily lives, but just a little differently. Yeah. I tried to bring like as many different various possibilities as I could to this thing. So it presents that many kind of sports can be kind of done in this, even if they look a little funny for us right now. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks Maria for your presentation for this poster. It's really nice to see. Probably this can be the solution for 2021 Olympic Games already. And so my question would be, so what's the how to say, by composing all these images together, what you want the reader or the viewer to take away by looking at your posters? Is there a key message you want to convey with this?
I wanted to convey that like it is possible, so like the life continues, and if you see like everybody on the picture is really serious, so like you can take this silly looking element and still make it like a serious sports. Yeah. So, and I wanted to bring the variety also, so like the people view their sports they're used to viewing, but they see them in a new form. So this is also like a new thing that you can you see your familiar thing in a new way. So that's why there's also the slogan of experience the new era of sports. So they have to modify the traditions a little bit to make new and adapt to the ongoing world situation.
Okay, nice. Actually, very nice message. Yeah. If this message you want to convey can be more visible in the text or in some way, it would be even better for this poster. But overall, well done. Thanks. So over to Krista.
Yes, thank you for your poster and this new concept of doing sports. I think I like your poster. It kind of brings up already, the bubbles are in the main element there, and yeah, it kind of defines the sports and the competitions in a new way. It's a new era of doing sports, and I kind of like the idea of these bubbles and how they change the typical sports that we've been doing by far. So this is really funny and fun. Thanks to Pekka.
Thank you.
Yes, now I know why you said that you were definitely the last presenter. Yes, I saw now the last name there. So yes, you are there, and thank you for waiting until this long. I think that I really valued kind of the new thinking and the thinking something that doesn't exist. And then I was thinking, okay, I will burst the bubble with the needle. I realized it's unburstable because its design is so nice. But I think that this kind of thinking may not be 2024 like that, but something else will happen. So I think that you have taken the steps further, like opening the discussion about the tomorrow in terms of era of sports. I think that's the biggest value on this very nice poster. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just in case, has there been anyone whose presentation hasn't been well presented? I assume not, so Juhani will say first.
All right, so we are close to the finalization of the session. So now it goes so that Johannes has sent a link to the Zoom chat where you can find a beautiful list of all candidates, and there is radio buttons. You can push only one, and that's the voting. And if you want to look once again all the posters and presentations, so there is a link also to a PDF where you can see all of those what has been presented. And now the jury stays about 10 minutes discussing with each other and making their own choice, and it means that we are now putting only the jury to discuss in Zoom, and you participants out there, you can have a 10-minute break. All right, we are back. So now it's the jury's trial. How did it go? So you start to tell about your resolutions.
All right. Yes. So let's start with. I will start just briefly saying that that we it was very hard to decide so many great works. So we decided that we give 2 honorable mentions, and then president of the jury, Krista Korpikoski, will announce then the winner. So I will start with the first honorable mention, and Xav will say the second honorable mention, and then the winner, the best project, will be announced by Krista, and then after that Juhani Risku will reveal the audience favorite and give the conclusive words for the course. But I will start by saying that the jury was very impressed and wanted to acknowledge a work that clearly stimulated and showed over the course growth and aspiration to become better designer, and also it had very strong underlying message that is very important in these times that we live. And the one message that was shared by the presenter was that this person has learned a dare to try during the course. It's a powerful message, and she has a powerful message: is social distancing, you are not alone. Honorable mention, Fuzzy Front End 2020. All right. Do you want to say something? The winner is social distancing, you are not alone, still with us.
Oh, yes.
Matilda, do you want to say something? How do you feel now?
Surprised, I guess. I was not expecting that at all. But thank you a lot.
So there would be a small honorable mention piece of paper and signatures coming for you later.
Amazing.
But so all right, good. And now over to Saul. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So the second honorable mention goes to a poster that used very few elements, but has a really sent a big message to all the people who read the message, and this message has really concrete effect. So people read this message, they can actually put into action immediately, concrete action. So with this explanation, I reveal the second honorable mention goes to the poster More Movement. So congratulations. I don't know who's the designer of the More Movement. Please, could you say something?
Mr. More Movement, are you still with us? All right, More Movement is so shocked that he cannot recover his microphone. So let's move on to the president of the jury and the winner.
Thank you, Pekka. So, the president of the jury will announce the winner, and I will tell you why the winner is the winner. This concept is new and innovative, and there were very impressive, strong visuals in the poster, and the presentation was nice. And all of us, all the jury members, had this concept in their list in top 3. So now I will announce it, and the winner is Nano Silver by Salla Kovanen. Congratulations.
Kiitos.
Do you want to say something?
No, en kyllä tavallaan ajatellut, että olisin ollenkaan voittanut, että kiitos paljon. Ja kiva, että teidänkin mielestä tämä oli tärkeä ja hyvä idea.
Thank you, Salla. We think it was good, and we all liked the new idea and innovative idea behind it, and all the, your visual skills that you have here in the poster. Thanks for that.
And then comes the audience favorite. So it was very tough competition between everybody. So all the time the values were changing and the grades were changing, and till the last moment. And what we got then was the winner. And the winner is very special in a way, because it's a bit fine-tuned from the last time what we have seen, and it's beautiful in its colors. It's very sensitive, even sensual. Beautiful poster, animated poster by Emma Hirsimäki. Emma, are you there? Tell something.
Yes, I'm here. I want to thank everyone who voted for my poster. I'm very proud of it, or how much I learned about animation in just a couple of days.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you. So now we have done all the things that we could do during this course, and I welcome everybody to be a designer. You have showed that you can do it, and you have started even your designer career. It's very important. Whenever you want to have a job, so it's better that you also tell that I can design by the same time when I can research or make other things. And a designer is a leader. That's very important. We are continuing later here with the staff members, so that we evaluate your works on Moodle, and you get your grades a bit later, within probably 2 weeks. So thank you all jury members. Thank you all active and talented course people out there who made beautiful works, really good works. Thank you, our studio members, Jonas and Johannes. You have worked quite hard and heavily all the time. So we made great work together. It's really important, and in this virtual way, it's very special in this case.
Juhani, before we say any closing words, there was some very practical question. I'd like to bring it up here.
Okay,
so
please.
There was a question about the notebooks. So before you say the closing words, please say something about the notebooks, on when the instruction for returning, how the notebook should be returned.
Yeah, the basic idea was that that you scan them with your smartphone or other scanners to PDF, and then send it to us. And we have a special. Just a minute, Johannes tells.
Eli annetaan vielä käytännön ohjeet ja tehdään palautuslaatikko Moodleen tämän päivän aikana. Keskityttiin nyt tekemään tämä live-lähetys loppu ja muuta, mutta saatte vielä sähköpostilla ilmoituksen, kun palautuslaatikko on pystyssä. Ja sinne ollaan voitu sitten skannata sivut ja ollaan listattu siihen sitten ohjelmat, millä se saadaan kaikista helpoiten tehtyä. Mutta se olisi vielä sitten niin viimeisenä rupeamana tälle kurssille.
Joo, aivan niin. Eli te palautatte sitten PDF-skannauksilla. Ja itse huomasin esimerkiksi käyttäessäni cam-scanneria, että en ota täyttä resoluutiota, niin se 50-sivuinenkin opus pysyy ihan sopivan kokoisena. So we return the scanned notebooks to Moodle, and you get advice during this day today. And with the closing words, you made great work. And we made it together, and this is probably going to continue this kind of a mode of operation that we have this classroom kind, what we had, that it's virtual, and then we meet in this way also face to face. So have a nice skiing weather. There's very good weather to ski basically somewhere in Finland, and very good summer for you everybody. See you later.
Kiitoksia Juhani Risku.
Thank you. Kiitos.